To create a quiz, first open your 3D model or tour in Human Studio. We recommend planning out your quiz beforehand. Think about the learning objectives that you are trying to assess, and then think about how to best use the 3D model and different question types to accomplish this goal. Select Quiz from the toolbar above your canvas. Now you are ready to start adding quiz questions. To add a new question, click Add Question in the quiz panel. Multiple choice questions are the most broadly applicable type and can be used to assess a wide variety of learning objectives. Select multiple choice from the drop-down menu to build your question. Enter your question in the question field. Under Answers, enter each of the answer choices you would like to make available, and be sure to indicate which answer is correct by clicking the circle to the left. In the Answer Explanation field, you can insert a rationale that helps the learner understand why this is the correct answer. You can do this with every question type. You have 2 additional options in the Advanced tab, and this is also available for all question types. If you would like the model to appear in a slightly different position when the learner is viewing the quiz question, save a custom starting position for the question. Use your mouse, keyboard, or 3D controls to reposition the model. When your model looks exactly how you want it to look, click Mark Position. Now, the model will adjust to the starting position you've indicated when the learner enters this question. Next button text allows you to customize the text that appears in the button that takes the learner to the next question if there is one. If left blank, this button will say Next Question by default. To add more questions, scroll down and select Add Question again. You can add as many questions as you'd like to each chapter, and there is no limit to the number of questions you can have in the quiz. The Select Anatomy and 3D question type is unique because it requires the learner to select one or more structures in the 3D model to answer the question. Make the question more challenging by requiring the learner to rotate, zoom, or even hide structures to find what they're looking for. This is a great option if your goal is to gauge familiarity with the positioning of anatomical structures in the body. Enter your question or request. You can enter something as simple as select the mitral valve, or select the following structures in the model, or something more challenging like select the artery that supplies the right atrium and right ventricle with blood. Select the desired structures in the model. This is your answer key. By default, the names of the structures you have chosen will be listed below the question text in the final quiz. To turn this off, uncheck the box next to Show Answer List in Question Text. This is a best practice if you already named the structure in your question text, or if you are asking the learner to select a structure by describing its function instead of its name. Label anatomy questions are BioDigital's take on the traditional drag-and-drop quiz question. This question type can be used to measure a learner's ability to identify multiple structures at once, or their understanding of the relationships between them. Instead of dragging and dropping a list of labels onto the model, the learner must select the best option for each label. Select Label Anatomy from the drop-down menu. Enter your question or request. This can be as simple or complex as needed to achieve your assessment goals. Click on the structures in the 3D model that you'd like to quiz your learners on. Just like when you're adding labels in label mode, clicking on a structure will apply labels to the model. But in this case, these labels will serve as your answer key, and the learner will need to select the correct name for each label. The Instructions option allows you to provide instructions at the beginning of your quiz or more context between questions. Simply select Instructions and in the text field, enter the relevant information. If you would like to preview your quiz at any point, click on the More Options button next to the question in the quiz panel and select Preview Question from the drop-down menu. To remove a question, click More Options and select Remove. Every quiz comes with advanced settings such as a summary page and progress indicator. All of these settings are enabled by default, and most of the time you will not need to and probably shouldn't touch these settings at all. However, there are some situations where you may want to disable one or more of these settings. For example, if you are adding quiz questions to a model that is actively being used in a course, you can temporarily disable your quiz so it's not available in your published model until you have finished building it. You can learn more about our quiz settings in our Help Center. Once you have completed your quiz, click Save. You can then publish right from Human Studio, or save that for later. If you are ready to publish, you will see the quiz options within the publishing window. Checking the box Show Quiz Only will lock your model in quiz mode, meaning your published link or embed code will launch the quiz automatically and the learner will not have access to the rest of the tour. Otherwise, the learner can select Take Quiz from the menu in the lower right corner of the viewer to take the quiz. Once you have selected your desired setting, you can move on to the rest of the publishing settings and either embed your model or link it using a URL. Don't forget to visit our Help Center for a robust library of resources at support.biodigital.com.